Okay, so good evening, students. We want to start chapter 4, but before we start chapter 4, I'm sharing sample answers to the flowchart questions that I gave you. So let us start with those sample answers and then we'll go to the flowchart. To chapter 4, sorry. Now, someone has to ping me that the flowcharts are visible. As my screen is visible. Okay. Now, students, so this is the answer to the flowchart number 1. So, what I'll be doing, I'll be sharing these sample answers with the institute. So, from the location, you are able to download the material. The institute will upload this tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. So, by tomorrow evening, you'll be able to download these sample answers. Now, see, there is a very important discussion on this flowchart. Let us read what was asked. See, that is okay. But the screen is visible, Radha? The flowchart is visible. It's there. Okay. Now, see, if you read the question was that you have to add the 3 numbers given. The question did not specify whether the numbers are being fed by the user or they are being read from the database. So what I've done, I've created flowchart for both of the situation as it may arise. So the symbols are those which we need to use, the start button. Then next is a very important mandatory symbol that is clear all working locations. So just for your knowledge, see why this clear all working locations is important. In computer, there are registers, memory registers. So this has to be done to ensure that all those memory registers having any value are made null so that they don't carry a predefined value. So that is very, very important. Then this flowchart that you are looking at is basically reading the 3 numbers from database, that is read A, B, C. Then you next process is sum of the numbers A, B, C. Then print, the print symbol, and then end. So this is a very simple flowchart, but it had a twist in terms of we need to be very clear how the input is called for. See, flowchart defines an input, a process, and an output. So it's very important to understand these 3 parameters for any flowchart. In the given question, it was basically to create this discussion. I kept it open-ended so that we can discuss why this idea is so important. So suppose this have to be read from a database pre-stored locations, then you read APC. Suppose it flowchart was that you get input values from the user. So look, I've just changed that. So this is same flowchart with only difference that the command of read has been replaced by input. So now the user is going to feed the values input A, B, C, and then you are going to sum and then print them. So that is simple flowchart number 1. So I think that's easy. As many of the students are not able to see the video, is there any technical issue? They are able to see it on, just check it. As is checking, our technical team is checking. So let us go ahead. Then, so that is flowchart number 1. So I'm closing this one and then bringing the flowchart number 2. Now, okay, so please continue on YouTube. By the time the technical team looks why this video login. Okay. Now, the second one. Now, second one is a very important discussion. See, the question I gave you was identify highest 3 numbers. Okay. Please be very clear. You had to identify the highest. Okay. We did not ask you to print the number which is highest. We asked you to identify the highest. So you need to read the question very clearly. Okay. So then that is, in this, I'll share something more with you. So again, clear all working location, read the three numbers. Again, same concept, because nothing is given. So we are reading it from stored values. You can replace read and write input. If user is doing, suppose the question was identify highest from the three numbers input by user. So your command here read would have become input. Okay. Now, next is important. And this is what I expect all of us to do with flowchart, that to make an exam. See, to me, it's clear. Flowchart is 100% scoring. If there's a 10 marks flowchart, we all need to get 10 out of 10. No options given. So read ABC, then it is comparing A, whether it is greater than B. If no, then if A is not greater than B, that means B is greater. And if B is greater than C, yes, then highest is B. If B is not greater than C, that means highest is C. If A is greater than B, yes, but A is not greater than C, no, that means C is highest. So simple. And what we have done, stored the highest value of that number to highest as a variable. So ABC, what was the identify highest? That is very important. Now, I'm just giving it a twist. Okay, just see the next flowchart. Print the highest from three numbers ABC. So when I say print, you have to first judge which is the highest and then print the highest. So that you need to understand what the question exactly is about. And this is how you get marks. And it is step marking in your examination. So this is how you have to draw these flowcharts. And please understand, flowcharts to me personally and otherwise also, they are like mathematics. So 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. 2 to the power 2 is 4. The result is same. The way processing is different. So even if with a different way, different logic, you can get to the correct answer. That is going to be held as a valid flowchart. What you need to see whether you are doing a correct flowchart. So there's something that we call as a dry run. Now what dry run means? Say in the example given, suppose I give values to A, B, and C. So I am giving sample values. So my sample values 10, 15, and 20. So what you do a dry run. Suppose A is 10, B is 15, and C is 20. Now let us do process as per the flowchart. Is A greater than B? A is 10. No, A is not greater than B. So we go here. Is B greater than C? So is B greater than C? No. So B is not greater than C. No. So which is highest? C. So 20 becomes highest. So I'm changing the values. I'm now doing it reverse. 20, 15, and 10. So A is 20, B is 15, and C is 10. Is A greater than B? 20 is greater than 15. Yes. Is A greater than C? 20 is greater than 10. A is highest. Again, I am changing the values. Now, 10, 20, and 15. Now, B is 20. Okay. Is A greater than B? No. Is B greater than C? Yes. It's 20. So now the answer is B. So you do, this is what we call as a dry run. So you give values to the variables used, and this you can do as a working note. This is going to help you check whether your flowchart is logically, semantically correct or not. So that is flowchart number 2. I'll be closing this one and opening flowchart number 3. Just wait. Now, so third flowchart, that was add first 25 even numbers and print the result. So this was basically to allow you to understand the concept of count. So clear all working locations. First 25 even numbers. So because I am starting with even numbers, as students have stated that it is not available on Institute's live ICAI. A student has commented that your class is not available in website. It is broadcasting on YouTube. Just see. Okay, I've given the feedback. So you all please check. IAS is looking into that, our technical team. But because it is visible on YouTube, so let us continue with our studies. The only issue is you will not be able to ask the questions as of now. So you can ask once it is available live. So let us continue. Okay. Now on the third flow chart, add first 25 even numbers and print the result. So I've given n is my number, so it is 2. C is my count, so it is going to, it's a loop. Oh, CAWL is Kiran Kumar, clear all working locations. In the first flowchart, I defined it, I'll do it again. Clear all working location is basically telling the computer, because in system, in computer, there are memory registers where variables may have some value. So it nullifies, make those values nil. So it's basic instruction when you create any flowchart. So it ensures that there is no, like, suppose I may not give CAWL, then there is a possibility that some as a variable may have some hidden value in system. So that is very important. Clear all working locations. It's basically to ensure that any stored value in system is made 0, null, nil, like that. Okay. So it appears Kiran is able to see. So just give an update whether you are all able to see the flowchart on Institute Live. So n is 2, then the count is 1. Sum is sum plus n. So we are storing this value. Is count 25? Whether we have added, so in the first case it is no. So I increase the count by 1, increase the value of n by 2, and then root the flowchart up again sum. So this continues for 24 loops because 1 is already there. Once the value of C becomes 25, the system prints the value of sum. Again, you can do it with a small set. Let us do for first 4 even numbers. First 4 even numbers. So we'll do a dry run with first 4 even numbers. First number is 2, count is 1. So sum is equal to sum plus n. So value of sum now becomes 2. Is C 4? No. So make count 2. N has been increased by 2. So now n is 4, sum is 2. Go up. Sum is sum plus 2. So sum is 2, n is 4. New value of sum is 6. No. Make it C plus 1. Now C is 3, n is 6. It goes up. Sum is 6, n is also 6. So 6 plus 6 is 12. So my value of sum is 12. C is 4. No. Add 1 more. So now C is 4. Add 2 to n. So n is 8 and sum is 12. Go up. So 12 plus 8 is 20. So sum is 20. Is C 4? Yes. So print sum 20. So let us see first 4 even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8. The sum is 20. It has been printed. That is how you do a dry run. Okay. So that is flowchart. Let me. And you can ask the questions again. I am there to explain. So let us continue. By the time we all become Enterprise Information System Chapter 4. So when I went through the chapter, I just did not feel the need to discuss this with you because you are all so technology oriented. You are all so updated. So, and you are all doing e-commerce and commerce. What we are going to learn? Basically, what we'll be trying to do, we'll try to frame the way we are going to visualize all these technologies for our exam, e-commerce, m-commerce, and emerging technologies. Let us do it. So the core objectives, learning objectives for this chapter. The new technologies, risk and controls. We will have a good detailed discussion on each. Again, because you are, I think you are able to reply on chat, so you can listen to my question and answer on chat. So that is going to keep our interaction on because I see many of you have been able to post on the chat. So I think that one part is working, so we'll use that part. So this is a detailed chapter, lot of content. So it's a summary of the content we'll be going about: introduction, components of e-commerce and commerce, the architecture, the workflows, the risk, laws, digital payments, new developments in computing. E-commerce, sale, purchase of goods and services through electronic e-mode is e-commerce. Now, post-COVID, Corona, post-lockdown, and now virtually we are into second phase of lockdown. We all need to have good precautions. Please maintain social distancing. Mask is mandate. Do not go out unless it is absolutely necessary for all of us to do. Even for those who are going in offices, maintain social distance and avoid unnecessary gathering. Okay. Now, why this example? Post-COVID Corona lockdown, there has been a tendency to move towards electronic commerce, our daily groceries, vegetables. Now, online food aggregators, they are also live now since last 3 months. So all okay, but there is a good query by Radha. So let me, n will be 2 because we are totaling even numbers, Radha. If I would be totaling odd numbers, then n will be 1. My count, my 25 loop count is, so n is going to be 2. 25 count is based, is being done through the count separate variable I've used, that is C. Always use 2 variables, one for the number and other for the count. In fact, I wanted to ask this question, that suppose the question was that I want to total the first 25 odd numbers. So what I would have to change? I would have to change the value of n from 2 to 1. Then it will total first 25 odd numbers. Because I am totaling first 25 even numbers, then it has to be 2. Okay. So we were on this e-commerce. Now, so COVID, Corona, we have all moved toward e-commerce. This class itself is a good example, the digital learning hub of the institute. So it has fundamentally redefined the way we all are working. We cannot change the shapes used in the flowchart, Vijay Shankar. Absolutely not. No. They are defined shapes, defined meaning. You can only see, please understand. I'm just taking a break to tell you how this flowchart will be used for programming. See what happens. There's a concept of decision table and then flowcharts, and then these are converted into program codes. So there are program codes will directly convert flowchart into coding, the English-like languages, like you say Java, C. Those who know computer, basic language was there. So what this program system do? The flowcharts are automatically converted into the source code. So if symbol is incorrect, my source code will be incorrect. So that is the best way to remember that you cannot change the symbol. Symbols have meaning. Yes, we are receiving Surya queries, so I don't know how I'm able to receive. Keep posting that on Surya. So thank you. Okay. Yeah, we are receiving Surya. We are receiving your queries. Then, now, so this has phenomenally affected the way we do business. E-commerce is the process of doing business electronically, and in the new module, some updates have been given to the variety of business processes. Will be talked B2B, B2C, number of new have been added. So I'll be sharing those updates. Now, this is important, and please understand, I'll be asking many questions. Our chat is working, so you can always answer on the chat. So first question on this slide. Okay. Traditional commerce and e-commerce. So the first question. Which of the two is available 24/7? First question is, which of the two, traditional versus e-commerce, which is available 24/7? So you have to say T for traditional commerce, E for e-commerce. Which of the two is available 24/7? First question. So first is availability. Second, which of the two gives you more choice of products? Second question is, which of the two give you more choice of product? So first was availability 24/7. Second is the choice of product. Third, suppose you want to buy mangoes and you want to smell it, feel the mango. Which way is the best? We are in mango season. Okay. So which way is the best way to buy mangoes? E-commerce or e-commerce? And I understand few of you will be from Ratnagiri, coastal area bordering Goa and Maharashtra, and Alfonso, Hapusam, and there is Kesar from Valsad, and then this Langda from UP, Totapari from Andhra Pradesh. So we are a mango eating country, and now we are getting into the mango season. Okay. So if you want to buy mango, so if you want to feel and smell it, so you go by T-commerce or e-commerce. So this is the third question. So I've already got answers to first question, e-commerce. Okay. As there's a feedback, website is not available right now also. Okay. Thank you, Nandishwaran. Just keep it posting. So we'll give updates to or mangoes to, yes. So yes, T-commerce. So first two are T-commerce, e-commerce, electronic commerce 24/7, more choice available. Third one, mango, is T-commerce. Now just sharing, because our chapter is emerging technologies. So just sharing like that, someone has been able to digitize the smell. So what is a digitized smell? Like all colors are made of the three basic colors. So when you use color printer, so it mixes, merges, and create any color that you want to use. So what that person has been able to, it's a research phenomena. It's not commercial. What I'm sure person has been able to digitize the smell. So he has been able to break down all smell into its basic components, say 10 basic components. Like color has 3 basic colors, smell has 10 basic smells. So what will happen? Suppose there is an online mango shop and all these varieties of mangoes are kept there. So what that person has been able to do, he has been able to digitize smell. So there is a mango shop, and then on the mango shop, you go click on say Langda mango from Uttar Pradesh or Hapus from Ratnagiri, Alfonso. So you click on that mango. So the digitizer smells the mango. The analog smell is converted into a digital symbol. It comes to your system. Your system has those like fragrance releasers. All components are in your laptop, desktop, and you can smell the mango online. So see, this is how technology is growing. So mangoes today are traditional commerce, but one day probably e-commerce. Okay, great. Now, so we'll be talking about the differences and the illustrations on e-commerce, disadvantages, e-commerce business models, e-commerce future. Okay. So comparison, how things have changed. So you all know it. I'll only be reading the heading, wake up. Procurements, yes. In fact, few big cities, the big e-merchandisers are delivering product within 12 hours. So it's like just buying from your mom and pop store or the store nearby your home. That level of delivery is being done by e-commerce aggregators. Definition, we know. The next very important aspect is available. So e-commerce is available 24/7/365. And traditional commerce is available for limited time. In fact, COVID, Corona has been, other than grocery, other e-commerce, traditional commerce merchants are having very tough time in life. These are difficult times for everyone. And COVID, Corona has increased the intensity because of lockdown. You cannot open the shops. So it's really tough. So what is the best option for traditional commerce entities? Shift to commerce, to e-commerce. In my hometown where I am, we are having a lockdown for all restaurants. But what the authorities have allowed, that restaurant cannot have sit-in, but restaurants can deliver. So they have allowed you pack and delivery. So you go on e-commerce mode. So traditional commerce are also shifting to e-commerce. But then the Mango example was to tell us that not all processes can be shifted on e-commerce. There are going to be restrictions. Still, whatever can be done, best has to be done. That is how you look at it. Okay. Then, this I've taken the example of Mango. Customer interaction, traditional commerce is face-to-face, e-commerce screen-to-face. But yes, you must have seen those advertisements by banks that you can have a video banking, you could have video KYC open. So that way, people are orienting themselves to electronic commerce. Then, yes, the best part is worldwide reach for e-commerce. First is fundamental. Huh? It has a lot of implications, but remember basic part. See how businesses are growing, how people understand what you are doing. So that is part of resource focus in e-commerce and e-commerce. Marketing, yes. Payment modes. Now, in fact, traditional commerce also you go to merchants. So they have all e-wallets, online payments you can do. Scanners are there. No contact payments. So all are coming for traditional commerce. But the only issue is that for traditional commerce, you have to go to the shop to buy it. That is the difference. The delivery of goods is instant, you buy it, but then it may take time. In US, Amazon has started delivering loans. In fact, if you're tracking, we're all tracking on WhatsApp the vaccine distribution for Corona. So number of countries, they've already started delivery of vaccines, like there are remote locations. So delivery of vaccines is being done through drones. That idea has already been tested. So technology is changing the way things are going about. Then yes, so fraud possibilities are both, but the possibility of fraud is much larger in e-commerce because of the anonymity of the transaction. You don't know to the person whom you are interacting with. Process is automated, and e-commerce merchants have this concept of JIT. I think JIT you know, just in time. Profit impact, yes. So it is having a huge impact on the profitability businesses of entities. So those who have moved to e-commerce, they've been able to increase margin because they don't have the chain of delivery chain between the manufacturer and customer has been reduced. Number of participants have been reduced, and this is the way things are going to go in future. I think we all know how you do e-commerce. So I'm just reading this through. Go to the website, scan the product, select the product, go to the payment link. But I'll be asking a question. Okay. Select the payment option, complete the payment process, get delivery as per terms. Now, in the illustration, if my payment mode is cash on delivery, the illustration, if my payment mode is cash on delivery, which step is going to change in serial number? Which step I need to change? Which step at what serial number will be changed if my payment mode is cash on delivery? Just for knowledge of all the e-commerce buying that is being done, most of the payments are cash on delivery in India. It's an India specific concept. So that is how we are culturally designed. So cash on delivery. So if I do cash on delivery, then which step I will have to change in this slide? So just take your time to get the right answer. By the time you go to this, there is a question that I need to answer. So yes, thank you, Nandishwaran. So Nandishwaran has two things open: a laptop and a mobile. Great. Then Harsh, so we use end. Okay. See, literally end and stop will have meaning. Stop is for a mid process, but then Let us not go for that. Let us use end only, start and end. Okay. Then, so there is a question that you need to answer. Cash on delivery is part of the my payment mode. So which step I need to change? Let us go ahead. Then this is very, very important. We have talked about few. What I request you, so you are answering first question there. Second question on this slide. By the time I discuss benefits to customers, individual user, what you do, you write in the chat, what are the benefits to the government due to e-commerce? Let us see what vision we can create, how government is thinking on e-commerce. Okay. So benefits to customer, individuals and user, convenience. So one question was the step change in cash on delivery. Second question was the benefit to the government. So you're answering the two questions. Okay. Now, benefit to customer, individual and user, convenience, we agree. Time saving, huge option, easy to find review, online reviews, and we also need to give ethically, and we use reviews. Anytime, anywhere access, at least recurring payments made easy, instant transactions, provides a dynamic market, reduction in cost. Okay, so as students have given update that now it is available. Thank you. Okay, so we have first answered to the step change. So two questions were answering: change of the step of cash on delivery and benefit to the government due to e-commerce. So we are reading benefit to the customers. Let us do it again. Convenience, time saving, various options, easy to find review, coupon and deals anytime, reduction in cost, increased customer base, recurring payments made easy, instant transactions, a dynamic market, reduction in cost for the seller as well as the buyer. This is important. Benefit to the sellers, creation of new market, easy entry, low entry barriers. Yes, anyone who can create a simple app, she can enter into this e-commerce field. The only thing is you need to keep your app secured. Security is very important. You don't compromise on security. Cost compromise will not lead to compromise on security. Low cost doesn't mean low security. Please understand, low cost is not directly linked to low security. Security has to be high. And time delays removed, yes. Better quality products because you are focusing on specifics, efficiency improvement due to reduction in time to complete a transaction, reduction in errors, reduction in inventory. Now your inventory is held in JIT, just in time mode. Now, because I'll be reading it, let me get to the answers you have given. So many of you, good, great. So I think you are live now. I'm getting a lot of high input. So, no, the step that you will be changing, the step 4, that was the payment link. So in this case, you're not going to go to the payment link. You will say cash on delivery. That will be there. Step 7, let me just check because many of you have said step 7. And sorry. Just a moment. Complete payment process. Yes. So step 7 is also going to change, and step 4 will be replaced by cash on delivery, and new step 8 will be there. So many of you have given very good answers. So Radha has given Vijay Shankar, Ayushi, Kiran, T, Mahindvi, Meghna. Okay. Then Vaishnavi, Kiran Kumar, government. Now coming to benefits to the government. Again, you are smart students. I love the answers, the way you are giving. Keep this intensity on. It helps me also learn. We can learn at any time. So benefits to the government. So I'm reading those. So who have put, yeah. Vijay Shankar has put intermediaries will be cut so customers get products at low price. That is correct. Radha, benefit to government in terms of taxation, immediate receipt of tax. Fantastic. And benefit to government, less corruption. Hers. The it goes to Harsh for this answer. It has phenomenally changed this parameter. Then government benefits, digitization, yes. Reduction in black money. So second chocolate goes to Kiran, the e-chocolate. The permission has to be taken. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so it's the legality of the transaction. Okay, that was Vasudha. Then Nandeshwaram. Step 2. So yeah, so that is Akanksha, benefits to government, better transparency. Yes, hence reduced need of surveillance, development of small. Yes, I consider this as an opportunity for small businesses to develop. This allows you to extrapolate, deliver. Means for chartered accountant firms, e-commerce, e-mode must allow extrapolation of your own service area. You must be able to provide service to not client in your city, not client in your state or country, across the globe. That is what imagination is, and this can be done. Take my word, you can do it. So development of small business, a very good point by Akanksha. Transparency in transaction, Ayushi, great. Harsh, e-commerce helps government to deliver public service such as health. This vaccination that is being done, in my family, I need to get me and my wife. Rest all in the family have got it. So they get the vaccination within 12 hours. You get an intimation because the vaccination is linked to Aadhaar. Get your certificate. You get the next date. Imagine what technology is doing. I think within 1 month or 2 months, it will be open for all of you also. 18 plus all will start getting vaccination in the next 2-3 months. So this is very, very important. So, yes, because now basically green technology, so ecological damage material need not be used to reduce their usage. Good. Then disadvantages of e-business. Now, in this part of the module, there is a point that has been added. Internet connection is a must. So yes, it is very, very important. Without technology, you cannot have e-commerce. So we need to have it mandatory. But the way 5G, 4G technologies are being rolled out across India, still availability of internet is an issue, but it is improving at a very fast pace. So internet availability is a constraint, and internet availability is directly related to availability of electricity. But now the way we are progressing since last 10-15 years, the availability of electricity within the country, within the state, within your hometown, village also is improved phenomenally. So both things are must for good e-commerce businesses. Next is a very important issue, high startup cost. So when you want to create an e-commerce, the connection, that is the internet connection, the electricity connection. So these issues are relevant. There are legal issues. One of you did point to that legal issue. Some businesses can never be put on e-commerce. Mangoes like that we will be taking lot of effort one day to buy mangoes online. Unless we smell it, feel it, it will just not be possible to do it. So that is like you cannot do few things. E-business and cultural impediments to e-commerce. Yes. So there is this cultural issue also. Even if the thing is available on e-commerce, we don't get a feel to suppose that smell digitizer is there and it is commercially available, and the mango shop is online, and you can actually get a real smell of the Totapari mango from Andhra Pradesh or Alfonso, Kesar or Langda. And India has more than, I think, I may be subject to correction, but more than 100 good varieties of mangoes from all states across India. So suppose that digitizer is being used and you can buy mangoes, all 100 types online. Still, it will take a lot of internal effort to buy a mango online. So that is cultural impediment. And security is a key concern. Very, very important. Okay. Then e-commerce business model. Again, there are a lot of updates in the current module. I'll tell you separately. So all new updates I am marking to you. So business model uh, is defined as an organization of product, service, and information flow and source of revenue and benefits for suppliers and customer. A model is adoption of organizations. Just a moment, there's some gap. I'll be back. My audio is there, just wait. Am I back? As I am back. Someone will ping me. There was a blackout on my laptop, so now I'm back. So I'm there. I understand I'm there. Thank you. So business model, the way organization does it, business model to internet economy. So that becomes the e-commerce model. So you, like the example I took on first day of our lecture about that snack seller who created a very good online app that had the payment gateway also. So that now the traditional business has been converted into e-commerce, and in fact, they did phenomenally well. Okay, thank you, As. So they did phenomenally well. So that is the change that you do in e-commerce. E-markets and models. E-shops, I'll just read them. E-shops, e-malls, e-auctions, portals, and then we'll define them. Okay. There's a lot, it's like there'll be some overlapping, but then let us try to be very specific. Buyer aggregators, virtual communities, e-marketing, e-procurement, e-distribution. So let us take one by one. E-shops. An e-shop is a virtual store front that sells products and services online. E-mall is defined as a retailing model of shopping, a conglomeration of different shops situated. So many shops come together, they create an e-mall. E-auctions are electronic auctions. In fact, banks are doing there for required assets, government agencies, those selling scraps are doing e-auctions. And portals are channels through which websites are offering content. The control of content can be source of revenue for firms through charging firms. So portals allowing people to come to their locations like this. Lot of portals are there where you can list as a business on those portals. Buyer aggregators, the buyer aggregator brings together large number of individual buyers that they can gain types of saving by using large volume buyers, like you have this Zomato and Uber and all those Swiggy food aggregators. Virtual communities, community of customers who share a common interest, intranet, and communicate with each other. E-marketing, use of electronic communication technology, such as internet to achieve marketing objectives. Of course, information on websites also empowers customers. So that is there. Thank you, Nandeshwar. E-procurement, management of all procurement activities by electronic form. E-distribution, distribution of e-platform. Now, these are the business models. So, a lot of additions have been done. So, originally they were basically three models: customer to customer, business to customer, business to business. Next four have been added: customer to business, customer to government, citizen to government, government to citizen, and business to government. So I'm not defining them. Their name, intent, all. So in this part, again, there are additions in the module. E-commerce future. Okay, so before we go to the next slide, which country? So, I've been talking about this whole concept of M-commerce. Our topic is also mobile commerce. So, which country across the world has M-commerce as a percentage of GDP highest? Which country across the world has M-commerce, mobile banking, as a percentage of their GDP as highest? So you have to say which country across the world. Okay. So you guess which country will have M-commerce, that includes mobile banking, as a percentage of the gross domestic product of the company as highest. So that will tell us that how technology can be used, enhanced, converted to create opportunities, converted to make sure that those lacunas which are there or shortcomings in the country or the culture or the development scenario can be improved upon. Now let us see what is the answer. The study is slightly back, but don't worry, it holds true today also. It is surprising. So Kenya, if you know Kenya, it has Mount Kilimanjaro. A lot of Indians live in Kenya, more specifically from the state of Gujarat. And Kenya has that very famous Masai Mara tribe. You must have read about it. So, and it's a tribal. So, what the decision makers, the politicians, the administration, what they did, they understood that to be able to open bank and remote locations and able to manage will not be tough. So, what they've done, there's a service provider in Kenya. They created something called as M-banking solution. So that M-banking solution can work through feature phones also. And it has revolutionized the way people use technology. Yes, it is percentage and this answer is correct. Okay. It's not there. Percentage of GDP, please understand, not the real value, but as a percentage of GDP. Okay. So we were here. Then components of e-commerce. So the components are you and me, users, e-commerce, vendors, the technology infrastructure, internet network, portals, payment gateways. So these are core components for any e-commerce transactions to go through in a seamless manner. We are quite low. Condition, we are quite low. We are increasing in leaps and bounds, but as a percent of GDP, we are low right. So this is how this whole thing together. It's a diagram from the module itself. We have the technology infrastructure, the users, the e-commerce, the sales support, mode of communication, data interchange, and all those things. Rather, percentage of GDP. I'm not talking of gross values. Please understand. And it's see, this data is always subject to update. So I'll also recheck from my end. But percentage of GDP. Now, users. This may be individual organization or anybody using the e-commerce platform. So anyone, you, me, anyone who is using it, he or she is on, becomes an e-commerce company. Vendors we know. Now, before we go to the next slide, the next question. So, because we all have been interacting for say we have been buying products online through our mobile app. So what I want to do, I'm taking two questions. You need not name the app, but what you need to name, that suppose you go to an e-commerce website, what things you look to go for the transaction on a specific website or a specific application, a mobile application. So whenever you buy on a mobile application, there are considerations you look before you actually make the buy decision. So that is what quality parameters you as a buyer look in an e-commerce vendor before you actually take a buy decision. That point I want you to comment on. Okay. So I understand you've started typing. So let me go to the next slide. Just I'll take a second. Then e-commerce vendors. So this includes suppliers, supply chain management, warehouse operations, shippings, returns, catalogs, product displays, loyalty programs. Is this discount coupons they give to you. Then few. Okay, you can give an example. This one. Few people started online, but the way the business was, so now they've opened their physical shop. So what they've been able to merge the online business to physical shops. You can name those entities which were originally online, but now open stores across India. Showroom and offline purchase. So you can always order online on those stores and go take delivery of the product from your nearby physical store. Large, and I'm very clear on the question I'm asking. They started online and now they've started their shops also. Then there are different methods, ordering methods, guarantees, privacy policy. This is very, very important. This is again going to come in. It came in chapter 1 also. We are in chapter 4. It has come again. When we go to the next chapter, chapter 5, it is going to come again. Privacy of data. Please be sure what we are talking about. Security of data, privacy of data. Very, very important. So I'll read your given answers. So one of the reasons you select is user-friendly, ratings given, seasonal sales, trending, ease of return and transaction. Good. That is by Akanksha. Very good point. Product pictures, customer reviews, ratings, different prices by different vendors. Yes, so we are now smart buyers. So the same product is available at 3 different merchants. So we go and search at all the 3 merchants. So these are the factors which affect our buying decision when we go for online buying. Great. That was Uma. Then Radha. Considerations are price, branded products, quality reviews. Kiran. Security, quality, Harsh. Score and star reviews. Yes, 5-star, 4-star. Yes. Good, Harsh. Vansha. Right level of security risk assessment to ensure value delivery and delivery channel. Again, a very good point Vansha has made. Tanmay, Paytm, mode of payment. Okay. Thank you, Tanmay. Okay. So e-commerce vendors, what are the things that you look for in e-commerce vendors? Great. Then third component that is for e-commerce is payment structure, technology infrastructure. Yes, so Kiran has named mobile company's name. They started online, now they have spent us Kiran. And Hungary has also made a medical drug selling website. Gaurav looks for delivery times. Now, technology infrastructure characteristics. So, e-commerce is scalable. Scalable means you can enhance the technology as per the need of it, ease of use and convenience of the technology. The responsive design. Very, very responsive design means the technology has to be so easy to update, upgrade, modify. That based on the need, you can do it very fast. It must not be a rigid structure. It has to be a simple, modifiable structure. Because see, e-commerce is growing in leaps and bounds. Uh, the changes are very fast. So whatever content you create, whatever design structure, whatever technology you use, it must be scalable also very fast. Fantastic point. Responsive design. Then within the hardware that includes computer servers and database, mobile apps, you all have digital libraries. Yes, where all the product catalogs and things are stored. Data interchange between the application, the user, between the application, the server, everything has to be in a secured mode. Very, very, very important. Computer servers, database, these are backbones. Now, a word has been used, cloud computing, that is part of our discussion in this chapter itself. So keep it pending as we go ahead. I'll be talking about cloud computing. It's basically sharing of resources. So computer server database are backbone of e-commerce. Now, most of the small and mid-sized e-commerce merchants organizations go for cloud computing. So it is being used. Cloud computing has allowed small businesses to come on e-commerce platform because cloud computing, one of the advantages is low cost. So small people can also come on e-commerce platform. Then mobile app is a software application programmed to run specifically on mobile devices. It can be tablets and smartphones. The key application of such mobile apps, so key components within companies. So mobile store front modules. So the way app looks on your mobile, the ticketing modules, advertising marketing modules. So the whole mobile app will have these subcomponents. Customer support, mobile banking module, again very important. And please understand, all the modules will have mandatory issues of privacy and security. Please keep that in top of your mind. Whatever mobile app, whatever modules in a mobile app are being developed, they need to have the privacy as a concept built into it, and security of the data also. Very, very, very important. Then digital library. It's a special library with focused collection of digital objects, which include text, visual, audio material stored in electronic form, so that whenever user he/she accesses, that data is made available. Because this takes lot of space. So there has to be mechanism to allow the storage, and there has to be mechanism to allow it being retrieved very fast from the retrieval speed has to be very, very fast. Then data interchange between the user, the server, the e-commerce platform, the digital library, it has to be very, very fast and seamless. Great. Next component is internet network. I think we need not talk about this. We all have discussed this in detail. So this becomes a very important component and a necessary component to ensure that e-commerce achieves the success that it can. Web portal through which you can do e-commerce transactions. Web portal's application through which user interacts with the e-commerce vendor. The simplicity. Now the next question. So on this you say, so I want you to answer 2 points. Here you can name. They all have been buying online. So all the online e-merchants which you found simple in terms of navigation. So you say this was simplest. That is for e-merchants. Online food aggregators, which one you found was the simple to use? Food aggregators. We know what we are talking about. So online e-merchants, simplicity. Online food aggregators, simplicity. Very important. In fact, this chapter is a detailed discussion on digital payments. So whatever is written in the second para of the slide is add more to that. Payment gateway. Payment mode through which customer shall make the payment. Payment gateway represents the e-commerce and commerce, the way vendor collects the payment. The payment gateway is very critical component of e-commerce. These are the last and most critical part of any e-commerce transaction. So then payment gateways can be debit, credit cards, online bank payments, vendor own payment wallet. Yes. So aggregators, the renting companies, they have got their money. So all companies have got their own payment wallets. Then SBI Buddy or payments, COD and UPI, use United Payment Interface. So we'll put talking in huge detail about all these payment gateways. Components is very important. Keep your minds on that because understanding level important and from exam perspective also it is very, very important. Then architecture of network system. Into it, then you will learn. Okay. So we talked about the introduction part and now the components and now the architecture. So there are basically, we talk about the definition. There's a concept of 2-tier, 3-tier, which one we have to use, and e-commerce architecture via internet and via mobile. So how these things are built, how these things are created. Architecture. Now see, because it's a slightly technical flair to it, so please put your heart into it and you learn well. Rest, see, most of the chapter is so practical, means there is nothing that is new I have shared, only we are framing in a format. This is slightly on the tech, because this relates to the back end of the technology. So we'll have to learn this. So architecture, what we mean when I say architecture? So architecture is a term to define the style of the design, method of construction used generally for building and other physical structure. In e-commerce, it denotes the way network architectures are built. So the construction of the network to create e-commerce. Then the next two lines are very, very important. Client is the requester of resource. Resource may be application, data, or any other computing resource. Server is the provider of resource. So there is an architect, there is a client, and there is a server. Now there is a question on this side. When you use what you are acting as, when you use an e-commerce merchant website, what as of the three name, what you are when you are going to e-commerce website. Just give your answer to that. I'm just refreshed. Yeah. So you have answered the first question. So which was more convenient? So let me see. More specifications for the product. Good. That is by Hanvi for one product. What? So it is basically based on what is your consideration. So student, your consideration. So my considerations are what Hanvi has clearly said: the product description and customer reviews. Nandishwaran, audiobooks and PDF files are usable easily. Great. Nandishwaran has done purchase online but not food aggregators. Radha has answered for 2. Okay. Simple. It has to be simple. Great. So next question was, when we go on e-commerce website, of the words given, which are we? What you are of the 3 words given? Okay. So let us talk about the architecture. Now again, slightly on the technical part, please remember them. Put your mind, heart into it, and you will remember them. So there is a 2-tier structure and 3-tier. Tier means the levels. Like when you go in train, so traveling by sleeper class, it has 3 tiers. Each has 3 berths. There's a third AC. Third AC means 3-tier, and the second AC means 2 tiers. So that 2 berths. So that is how you look to that. So 3-tier, 2-tier architecture. So 2-tier, simple. User sends request to server and server responds to the request by fetching data from it. So two tier has two basic structure, two components, the presentation tier, the client, and the user tier. This is the interface that allows user to interact with the platform. User can log into e-commerce vendors through this tier. This application also connects to database tier and displays various products and prices to the customer. So that is a presentation here, the user part. The database tier, the backend. The product data, price data, customer data, and other related data are kept here. User has no access to this data, but the server accesses this data and provides information to the user. So that becomes a database tier. So two tier, presentation and database. So that is simple. Advantage, system performance is higher because it's simple logic. Database and the application, physical applications are near, so there is no time delay due to distances. Since processing is shared, more user can interact with the system. It's a simple structure. Then it has some disadvantages. Because it's the user and system are very near, if many users are there, then networking becomes a huge issue. So then performance decreases because a lot of people are accessing the same resource. There's a restricted flexibility in choice of database management systems. You're going to read about DBMS chapter 2 and chapter 3. This database language may be proprietary. Proprietary means owned by each vendor. So just remember this, the disadvantages. You cannot have many users. The structure is simple, but if users increase, then this becomes performance deteriorates. Three tier. Three tier has three layers: presentation tier, application tier, and database. So let us remember that. Presentation tier, the same as in the two tier, occupies the top level where the user interacts. The tier communicates with other tiers. The application tier is the middle tier, or the logic and the business logic resides here. So what happens? This tier is pulled from the presentation tier. So whatever user says, it goes to the application tier, goes to database tier, picks data, comes to application, and then comes to the user. This tier houses the database servers where the information is stored and retrieved from. Advantage is clear separation between user interface and data presentation, because application, the logic is separate. Logic is not built in presentation or database tier. So this indicates something very important. This basically tells you that there are few words I'll be using: data analytics, business intelligence. What is data analytics? Making valued analysis of data. So what happens in 3-tier structure, because applications are separate, so this analysis can be done in a greater manner. So you can create complex systems. It allows dynamic load balancing. So even if performance users go up, it ensures they are properly balanced out. Change management is fast. Because it is complex, the key disadvantage is the first one: network traffic management. Huge users. Then second is a learning process. So tools are immature and more complex to manage the system, but then we are learning every day. So this is improving. So this disadvantage: tools are immature, maintenance tools are currently inadequate. So again, we are improving on that as technology learners. An obstacle for simplifying maintenance. Maintenance is not simple. So 2-tier and 3-tier. Which one to use? So based on the need, based on the nature of business, based on the nature of use, you select. 2-tier structure, application becomes ineffective in nature of cost. 3-tier, you have high performance, lightweight, flexibility, maintainability. So based on the nature you use, but today the way technology is growing, companies, even in bold. Next is e-commerce architecture wide internet. A detailed table follows. So let us go to the table. So e-commerce architecture, wide internet, and e-commerce architecture via mobile. So what difference it creates? So client user interface is through web browser. Then in case of, so this is how it works. So the first is for e-commerce architecture, wide internet, and via mobile. You can just read them. Okay. So again, it has three layers: client layer, application layer, and database layer. So it is three-tier structure. Okay. So this is how e-commerce is going to work around. So e-commerce architecture, internet. Now e-commerce architecture via mobile. And via internet through laptops and via mobile. So mobile has grown in geographical speed. So updates back. So we have the client level, the first tier, the application tier, and database. So again, it's readable from the module itself. So I'll request you to go through this. Client user interface, mobile web browser, and internet. This layer helps customer connect. Application layer, the backend server, for example, in the same, it includes e-merchant, reseller, logistics partner. So this data is brought out by application layer from database. So you have the database layer. The information is stored here. This layer is accessible to user through only application layer. Then workflow diagram for e-commerce. Let us see it. So just go through this simple from the module, how it is going to actually flow about. So I'm just reading it. We all have been doing it. Customer login, few e-commerce merchant may allow same transactions to be done through phone, but basic information flow is electronic mode. Customer selects the products, customer places the order, order is placed for selected product service by the customer. This leads to the next important step, that is payment gateway. We've already talked about this. Here, customer makes a selection of the payment method. In case of COD, the merchant gets an update from payment gateway that payment shall be made after delivery from the delivery is made for the to the customer. And dispatch and shipping, this process may be executed at two different ends. First, if product service inventory is managed by e-commerce vendor, dispatch is initiated at the merchant warehouse. Second, many e-commerce merchants allow third-party vendors to sell to merchant websites. So, like I've just taken an example from Flipkart, Amazon. So the dispatch is not from the e-commerce merchant warehouse, but from a third-party vendor. Tracking of the delivery, in fact, we all do it. So there's a tracking of your order. And if there's a cash on delivery, so as soon as the product is delivered, you have to pay the cash to the delivery person and get an update, and it is updated in system. Absolutely being done in electronic manner. There's always a question that I love to ask in this whole step, this slide and this slide. What physical document you get? Audit evidence. In this all, suppose you have bought a laptop online. What is the one physical document that you get? And when you get it? So you have to say what is physical document you get when you buy a laptop online. So what is the name of the document and when you get it? You must not generate it, you must get it. So it's 7:15. So let me see. Yeah, discount control. So it's best time to take a 5 minutes break. So as we are taking a 5 minutes break, we'll be back by 7:20. Thank you. So I hope you have posted your queries during the break. Okay. So you have, thank you. This interaction, I love it. Let me read. So we are client. Great. See the two-tier practical example in this, like in CA's office, you have a server and a user like that. So that is the best example. So invoice on delivery, physical document. Yes. So the question was which physical document is created. So delivery, and that is Saurav. Radha, physical document is delivery challan. Okay. Purchase invoice on receipt of the laptop. So that basically comes to the product. GST invoice after delivering the goods. User manual along with warranty card after opening the product. Great handle. So see why I shared this in this manner. This is because see entities are going for online transactions. It's B2B also, business to business also. So as an auditor, we this why this is being told to you many times. I get this few of these students because see, to me it is the 80 marks, 80% scoring subject. I'm absolutely clear. So many times, few students who find tough to gel with technology, they tell me that, sir, saying in Hindi with your permission, sir, इस subject को रखा ही क्यों है? Then I have to tell them, dear, this subject is the future. So now because we know what processes are, when you go for an audit, that is going to phenomenally upgrade, increase your auditing skills. The way you look, the approach the audit, that is what is going to help. Let us continue. So we have, yes, we are absolutely on schedule. But I request you please keep posting your queries. Thank you. Now, risk and controls relating to e-commerce. So risk, controls, case study, and cyber security risk. Yes, huge. This cyber risk was there in chapter 1. Now we are talking in chapter 4. It is part of chapter 2. 2, 3, and it will be part of chapter 5. So see, there are 2, 3 words I told you which exist in all chapters. Please keep mind of that. They will be very, very important every time, anytime for our examination. Okay. Yes, the subject is interesting. Absolutely interesting. There is nothing that is of. You see, when you say, when a student says, sir, what theory hai? I tell them, what is theory? You order online grocery, you order online merchandise, you book your tickets online, your travel tickets online, your hotel online, everything you are doing online, and then telling that the online subject is theory, that is some gap like that. Banking online means we have saving account, we have our firm's current account. The bank, the branch, the physical branch where we have our saving bank account, it is virtually only once a year I need to go to my branch. Everything is online. So that change is so okay. Now risk and controls relating to e-commerce, risk in e-business, controls, case study, and cyber risk. Let us take one by one. Again, there are updates to this. The first and foremost is privacy and security. Now, because we are repeating the word again and again, I request you to define the 2 words so that the difference, the key difference between the words. See what happens? Sometimes we merge privacy with security. They are two very important things. Okay, so please try to define privacy and security. Just let me see how you understand it. Privacy and security. And please understand, in the module, there is a separate discussion on, I think, SPDI, Secured Personal Data Information, then the GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation in European Union. So this issue of privacy of data has become a worldwide phenomenon. So try to define. Okay. Privacy security of data is key. Quality issues. Yes. The product ordered and the product received. Delay in goods and hidden cost. Now, because e-commerce, as we have all learned e-commerce, now we are attuned, oriented towards e-commerce. So now today, this hidden cost is not a big issue. Still, it is an issue. If you start ordering from websites which are not, or from applications which are not secured, which are not much publicly used, for which you don't have any background, then there is a concept of hidden cost. And there could be delay in deliveries also. Need to access internet and lack of personal touch. We have already taken a lot of examples on that. Yes, so there are few things that cannot be done in e-commerce mode, but lot of things which are visible in e-commerce are already transferred on e-commerce. What will remain is those which just cannot be done on e-commerce. So you cannot make your mango shake. Let us keep mango as a standard example. So then mango season we are, so you have mango and mango shake, then mango pak. There's a mithai that is called as mango pak, aam pak we call it. Then mango rabdi, and those from Mumbai, they must have had that mango cream. So that is how mango is. Then you have mango pickle. I don't know what all not can be made from mango. So lot of things which need personal touch, they cannot be shifted on e-commerce. Security relating to the payment gateways, that becomes again critical issue. Credit card issues. So whenever you make an online payment through your mobile, please see, validate that it's a secure mode of payment. There are indicators, there are certifications on the mobile app, the online apps, where you are making payments. Then whenever you give your CVV number, the 3-digit number at the end of back of your card, see that the CVV is not displayed, it is hidden, it comes as asterisks or dots. Then you get OTP. So now, because payment gateways and websites are linked, so OTP is already auto validated. We need to ensure that it is done this way. Once I complete, I'll read about your answers. Thank you. Infrastructure, you need to create that. Problem of anonymity, I took that example. See, one of the key issues, please understand, we are all mature enough to talk like this. We create friends on online apps. Now, the point is the individual, how do you make friends? So there's a friend request and you bookmark the request. So in the request, it says that there are 100 mutual friends. So you have 500 friends, a new friend request is there, and that individual has a mark 100 mutual friends. Because you see 100 mutual friends, you accept the request. The point is that you have never met this person. The person is he or she, and representing as she or he, you don't know. That anonymity is a big risk. There's a very tragic case just because of this anonymity. There are a number of such tragic cases. We don't have time to talk about, but this risk is huge of anonymity. The person you are talking to. So we need to be very sure of the individual we are allowing us to become friend with. And we are not celebrities. Billion followers, we have to be our own self. So that is very, very important. Repudiation of contract. Repudiation means cancellation. So see what happens, that you have ordered a product online and then you're waiting for the product, and it's B2B purchase. Means once you get the delivery of the product, you're going to use it for your business or do some additional, sorry. Anonymity, yeah, I've used the word anonymity means you don't, anonymous person, you don't know physically to whom you're talking to. The person is hidden in the cyberspace. It's an online transaction. So he can represent himself as herself. She can represent as himself. So risk, you do friend request, please validate to whom you say yes as a friend. You must have talked to the person, you must have known the person physical, then only accept a friend request. Please follow these simple rules. One day you will be saved of a deep trouble. Take my word for it. So that is anonymity. Then repudiation of the contract. So the example I was giving was this B2B, business to business contract. I'm waiting for a goods to come, and based on once I get the goods, I'll be using it to manufacture or do additional process and supply to my customer. Goods is not delivered. The merchant cancels the contract on his own without letting me give time or informing me. Repudiation of contract. So because my vendor is not supplied, I am not able to cater to my customers. So it's a huge issue. Lack of authenticity that we've talked about, loss of data theft is key, duplication. In fact, the bank I use, so whenever I click on your booking train ticket on irctc.co.in, so there's a to and fro. So you book a return ticket. Now what happens when you book an onward journey and a return journey? The fare is same by the same train. So the bank, online banking, when I make the payment or when I book both the tickets at the same moment of time, my online bank gives me a warning that same payment you made just now, please be sure that with this payment is genuine or not. Duplication check. Very, very important. An attack from hackers, hacking, you know, we've talked something on that in the previous chapter. Section 43 has been added, Information Technology Act, that talks about hacking. Denial of service. So again, a question to you. There are three fundamental pillars of any technology infrastructure: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We call it a CIA triad. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Denial of service hits which one? Confidentiality, integrity, or availability. Okay. What is denial of service? You log into a website, you want to buy, you want to book a train, and then you find that the website service. Non-recognition of electronic transaction, yes, they may not be recognized. And last has become more pertinent because of the MCA circular now, which has been deferred, lack of audit trail. So please understand, we need to improve this word lack of audit trail. We need to improve as to lack of visible audit trail. The audit trail exists in system, but it is not physically visible. You have to create proper programming into that so that you can view it physically. And problem of piracy using unauthenticated systems of software. Okay. Now, because we have completed this discussion, there is a question that I have already asked you. Denial of service is attack on which triad of the three? Confidentiality, integrity, or availability? You have answered the previous question. Let me read the answers. So Nandishwaran has given an example. We are recharging our mobile from home. Great. So you don't go to mobile shops? Absolutely not. Privacy, information maintained only with me, not shared. Security, information between me and the one whom I am sharing. Okay, Meghna, good try. Privacy is correct. Security needs upgrade. Radha. Privacy is end-to-end encryption. Great. Privacy, then Radha is trying to answer it. Shriram, privacy means protection of personal information. Ah, great. So again, our each chocolate goes to Vijay Shankar. Fantastic answer. Let me read it. Real learning. Privacy relates to how our personal information is used. So privacy is I allow the vendor or the e-merchant website or the e-merchant food aggregator what he, she can do with my information or it can do with my information. Why? Because see what information I have given to the my name, the mobile number, my bank account details, everything is with that person's privacies. I allow that organization to use the information in the way I want them to use. Like you do it online. Now websites do ask you when you register online. So it will ask you whether you want uh, our company to share information with other people or do you want to receive emailers on via, so you say no. So that is privacy. Privacy is how my personal data is going to be used by the organization to whom I have supplied my data. That is privacy. That most of you have said correctly. I'm reading Vijay Shankar. Security is how privacy is protected. My claps for this. Fantastic. Security is how privacy is protected. So that is very well. So thank you, Vijay Shankar. And we privacy means third party can get to know. Yes, good. Security is about safeguarding data, Mansha. Yes. Correct. Security is about safeguarding data, whereas privacy is safeguarding the user's identity. Accept it. So Radha wants to tell us there are more items that we can make from mango. So there's a mango lassi, mango shrikhand, kacha, mango chocolate, and what not. Yes, great. We are a mango country. Back to privacy. Uh, Tanmay, privacy is done for unauthorized use. Tanmay, you need to improve. It means the person whom you're talking to online, you don't know the person. What he or she is representing, whether it is the same person, anonymous, you don't know, you're not seeing the person. That was first. Second question I asked was denial of service attack is on. So Shriram says integrity, Hanvi says availability. So it's availability. It is availability. Yeah. Radha, your question has I'll read Radha's question. I'm trying to answer it, okay, because it has number of parameters. It's a very good question. And take my word, you take this question for your exam in audit. Take it as a question in exam in audit. Fantastic question. Let me read. A chartered accountant has to form his client base where he or she is in practice. Since there is a trend in LinkedIn, the person who are totally unknown may be our potential client. Uh, uh, Now, see, this has parameters from Code of Conduct. Institute has upgraded the Code of Conduct, the ethical standards. So I'm not answering here. It's a separate subject, separate topic, but it's a very good question. Please keep this question. Try to get good answer to the question for your audit paper. Very good question. Meghna, availability, yes. So denial of services availability, Radha availability, Saurabh, availability, yes. So it is correct. Nandishwaram, yes. Nandishwaram says privacy securing data, covering it. Yes. Okay. Now, so let us go ahead. We learn, and please understand, we can learn at any age. So, as a student, you say good things, I learn. So Vijay Shankar had said real good. Thank you, Vijay. Now, controls. So, because there is a risk, there has to be controls. So, internal controls, we all know, we have talked about it, PDC, preventive, detective, corrective. So, I'm not talking about that. Internal controls, as defined in accounting auditing, is the process for assuring achievement of an organization's objective aim, operational effectiveness, and efficiency, reliable financial reporting, compliance with laws, regulations, and policies. In an e-business environment, controls are necessary for all person in change. Very, very important. This is going to be a very important discussion. Please keep your mind on this. Before I go ahead, I'll be asking questions to you. Let me see. Control in e-business banking for you. So let me take one. What you try to answer that controls have to be taken by users also, sellers also, government also, network service provider, technology service provider, LSPs, logistics service providers, payment gateways. So I want you to give me at least one answer. What control you want payment gateways to have? My question is what? Controls need to be put in place by all components, all parts of all contributors, stakeholders in e-commerce. What are the stakeholders? Users, vendors, government, NSPs, network service providers, PSPs, technology service providers, LSPs, logistics service providers, and payment. What control you imagine need to be put in place by payment gateway. So by the time we come there, I'll read your answers. Okay. Users. This is important to ensure that genuine user is using e-commerce and commerce platform. There is a risk if user accounts are hacked. Every day we are getting this. Platforms account has been hacked. 40 million user data has been taken away. It's virtually a monthly phenomena. One such hacking attempt is being done across the world once a month. So what hackers get now, that brings to the issue of security. The online website to whom you have given data is ensuring privacy, not sharing. But now it needs to ensure security. No one can access that data. That is what is privacy and security. So there is a risk if user accounts are hacked and hackers buy products. Yes, it's a big problem. I think sometime back itself it came back. Someone was able to hack into that e-payment gateway server account and claim some lakhs of refunds. So that is a big issue. Then, so the question that you are answering is what control you imagine payment gateway must ensure. We'll be coming to payment gateway by the time you can answer. So controls to be kept by sellers, buyers, or merchants, vendors. These people need to have proper framework place to ensure success of business. Many e-commerce businesses have lost huge amount of money. Yes. Multiple examples. Yes. One feedback I want to give to you. See, because there's a basic interest we want to create in the subject. Now, kindly make it a habit. In fact, we must make it a habit for all subjects. But right now, I'm talking about only my subject or our subject, enterprise information system. See, start reading some English daily or English financial daily. Daily, English financial daily. Or any financial newspaper. Start reading it daily. रोज एक अंग्रेजी का फाइनेंशियल अखबार पढ़ना ही है. Must read. Once you start reading it, and once you read that, keep your syllabus in mind. What is going to happen at like auditing, accounting? Now every day you have this GST frauds being reported. So when you talk of GST fraud, there are 4 subjects which are hit: the accounting subject, the auditing subject, the law subject, and technology subject. So start reading the news, and you know what you can do? Prepare notes. When you read these news items, along with the news items, scribble the newspaper. By the evening, no one in the house needs the newspaper. Scribble it. Make notes on it. Write that this part of the news item related to that part of your subject. It is going to fundamental. So this, I am asking you, what control you imagine payment gateway must have? My background of asking this question is the recent frauds reported relating to payment gateways. That was the point. So try to answer. You go ahead. Now, what controls sellers, buyers need to have. So they need to have controls for imagine what is being written, understand the risk. Okay, so I'm not defining it. I want you to define. I'm reading the first two. Product and price catalog. What is the risk if these are not secured? What risk vendors have when product and price catalogs are not secured? And there are huge frauds across India on the fourth point, product returns. Multiple frauds. Every year, one of the e-commerce merchant is reporting a fraud, minimum 10 lakh rupees that relates to refund, that relates to product returns. Probably one or two are part of the module in case studies. I have taken them. Very, very important. So next question that you are trying to answer is what risk a vendor has if his product price and discount catalogs are not secured. Okay. Next is again very important. Accounting of cash. Okay. Just giving you something to think. I'm merging subjects. Accounting standard 9 is on revenue recognition. Okay. Sales revenue. Now, the question you just understand. I want you to learn. See, this is how you create a valued learning out of the subjects that we all read. Just with your permission, I am saying it. You can say, no, sir, not a good idea. You can say, sir, it's a bad idea. But let me share my idea. See, what I feel, because see, subjects are so interlinked. Probably in final, we must have one paper that has all 8 or 10 subjects together. So you have a question that has concept of accounting and auditing standard and income tax and GST and information technology act and RBI and Companies Act all brought together. So one paper that brings all subjects together. Now you say it's a good idea or bad idea. Then I'll tell you what I'm talking about. So I am on the last line, accounting for cash on delivery mode of sale. Now what I'm doing, I'm multiplying this last line with accounting standard 9 on revenue recognition, ACE 9. ACE 9 has 3 parameters. So I'm talking of sales revenue. So sale revenue recognition. Suppose I am buying. There are 2 modes of making payment, cash on delivery and immediate payment. I have ordered a laptop on 27th of March 2021. I have ordered a laptop on 27th of March 2021. I have selected advance payment, means I pay say 40,000 rupees for the laptop as soon as I buy it. So I made online payment. I have ordered on 27th of March. I ordered online. I made the payment online. Immediate payment. The delivery was made on April 3rd. First case. Second case. I ordered the laptop. I selected COD. The merchant allowed me COD. Cash on delivery. So I made 40,000 payment. Cash on delivery. Delivery is on 3rd of April. You have to say only this. This way of ordering, how does it affect my accounting standard 9 if I am the seller on the online website? I am the seller of the laptop. I'm using the e-merchant to sell my laptops. So there are 2 buyers, one who has made immediate payment. Both the orders were on 27th of March. The delivery is on 3rd of April. You say how you multiply it by accounting standard 9. This is how you need to learn this subject. Okay, let us go ahead. Then controls by government. So first question you were answering, the controls you seek in the payment gateway. Second, I've created a complicated question for you that on an e-merchant website, the seller gets 2 orders. One, a laptop is paid on 27th of March, delivered on 3rd of April. Another order, laptop is ordered on 27th March, delivery is on 3rd of April, and the payment term is cash on delivery. How the merchant is going to account for both the laptops as sale transaction in AS9? It's an exam question. Try to answer it. Okay. Now, government. And then when you are saying bad idea or good idea, all papers merge together. Now, government. So government across the world and India have two critical concerns. This is the key concern across the world. G20, G7, OECD, all countries are trying to understand how online purchases are to be taxed. So I buy a software, the company is in US, I download it, make the payment, it goes in dollars. Now, the taxation part. It's a burning issue. There are some companies have brought local regulations on this, but because it's a globalization, we are all bound by WTO agreements. So we are all countries across the world are trying to come to some solution on this. Please take in terms of now because we have GST. So this issue, had we had VAT, value added tax, this issue would have been relevant in India itself. But now because we have goods and service tax, it's a one India, one tax, one nation state. So that issue has lost its relevance in India, but now it's a global issue. And yes, you can only sell legal products online. The example is there. Online purchases are made. The product displayed name is something, delivery is something. The buyer knows that if I buy this product, I'll get what I want. So these are huge risks. Then network service providers, secured availability of network. Downtime has, yes, it can have a disastrous impact upon business. Downtime, I think we all understand. That was one edition that was done in chapter 1. I told you, very good edition, one of the parameters. Then TSP, technology service providers. This include all others other than NSPs, for example, cloud computing backend. So again, they need to be secure and they must not have any downtime. Payment. So now it has to be foolproof. Let us read your answers. Tanmay, yes, very good, Tanmay. So very good answer. OTP. So one control has to be OTP. That is why we have these advertisements that please do not share OTPs. Your messages are there. Website make messages that OTP is only sent to you. Please do not share OTPs. Good. And Aditya says payment should not get stuck. So yeah. So means the application has to be well working, secured, efficient app. Good app. Just don't disclose and yes, very good point. The payment gateways do not disclose the 16-digit card number. They disclose the 4 end digit or start 4 digits, only 8 digits. Good, good, good point. Meghna, while making payment, bank should make aware whether it is secured. Yes. So see, bank makes aware. Now it becomes, it's like buyers beware. So it's your responsibility to check the security. Secured or not. So there are ways. So you need to check whether it is secured or not. You need to learn how to check security. There are methods of doing it. Good, but it's good point. Laptops, mouse, sorry. Then Vijay Shankar, payment gateways, biometric confirmation. It's a very good point, Vijay, but then see, whatever we do on mobile, we don't have biometric confirmation for all this. A valid point for a payment gateway should have following control. Secured, SSL is secured socket layer. I was waiting for them. See, this validity is a green lock at the start of the address bar. The lock has to be closed. If it is closed, then it's a secured website. Just allow me to just give one more feedback on the audio. If it is, then I'll change my broadband. If it is still not good, I'll change broadband. Just one more feedback, then I'll change it. By the time, let me read. So Dual authentication, yes. Unsecured, yeah. Now, so that was first question. Second was, if a person is able to hack the product price catalog discount, so you answered it very well. People can change the prices, misuse it. And third was, good. So you have accepted the idea. Great. Oh no, Nandish. The last was accounting standard 9 multiplier. So because lot of you have answered, so I'll be short of time of reading all. But thanks for the updates. So Ayushi says when the payment is made on 27th, okay, is the topic. So I don't want to do it. See, basically, I want to create this mental consideration that technology is going to have, whether it is going to have impact on the accounting aspects also. So we need to learn that. Okay, biometric can be implemented. So let us see, it is going to come because it's a very secured mode. Yeah. So control in e-business environment. Let us go ahead. Interaction is good. Okay. Then LSPs, logistics service providers. So see, the success failure of e-commerce merchant, one of the key parameters, two or three key parameters are there. One of them is logistics, the timely delivery of products. So they need to be very well educated. Intrusion protection, again, very important. So I'm just reading. We know it. Viruses, hackers, password need to be secured, well-made passwords, regular software updates, very, very important. Sensitive data need to be secured. And last is the most important that we've discussed. You have also answered. No details of your payment gateway. Please check the payment gateways. See, never in life it is going to happen that you will not find time to check the authenticity, validity, integrity of the payment gateway service provider. Find the first time the name, please search on online, check whether the online credentials, and then only go ahead. This will save your life one day. Take my word for it. Okay, so there is some lagging. So what I'm doing, I'm just changing my broadband. So I ask, please allow me to just change my broadband. I have multiple broadband connections. I'm changing because they are saying there is lagging. Just take a minute. So I'm back. Please change the broadband. Just give me a ping by the time I'll send share. So we need to. I'll wait for your ping. I'll keep myself on this slide. We need to have controls against viruses. So you need to have proper antivirus softwares, update antivirus softwares regularly. Then hackers. So hackers can enter through systems. So you need to ensure that there are no open ends, secured systems are used. Passwords need to be so made that they are not guessable. Please do not share password unless it's an immediate threat. Even if you have shared a password, please ensure that you change the password next time when you log into your system. In our office, all staff, when they thanks, Nandishwar, thanks. When we give a office email ID, so I create their password and then tell the office staff to change the password on the first use. So that is there. Then regular software updates, very, very important. Identified and then protected. And the last point we were discussing before this change of broadband. Know your payment service providers. Point I was making that was that see, whenever you are making an online payment, you will have sufficient time to check the validity of the vendor or the payment gateway through which you are making a payment. Always check it. There will be no urgency. Please check it and then only make a payment. One day you will be saved because of this rule you follow. Case studies, yes. Return of mobile, fake. Okay, so I'm reading the case studies. Thank you. Thank you, Saurabh. From mobiles, opening the module. It is a reasonably big module. So I'm reading this. It's a live case. I have mentioned the city also is also here. A person in Hyderabad was caught for returning mobiles with defective parts. So see what this person did. He used to order mobiles, and when the delivery was made, what he used to do. See, if you opened your mobile phone, so generally we are able to open the back cover. You go to any mobile merchant, you can do it on your own also. If you remove the front cover, so the whole machine in the mobile, the key part of the so the keypad, the screen, and the back part that are it's like a complex assembly line, but it's assembly line. So the front part, the screen and the keypad, back part, and the main machine and everything with the battery. So these are 3 or 4 major components. They can be disassembled. What this person did, he will order new phones like that time the iPhones. As soon as he got those phones, the phone he was able to source fake machines, or like you go to any mobile market, then there are thousands of mobile in scrap. So he will buy scrap mobiles and bring out the non-working machines from the mobile so that it appears same. So he will remove the original machinery and put the non-working machinery in the mobile and make a complaint to the vendor that this mobile was received but the non-working condition. Continued doing this. He carried the fraud for 1 year. Because only after 1 year, this is a very good important topic that needs to get into your heart and mind, the concept of data analytics and business intelligence. So it was after 1 year, see these all big e-merchant vendors have a separate department today. The name of the department is fraud detection. All have it. So what they were doing, they track trends of refunds, trends of returns. This e-merchant, 1 year after they had this data trend analysis. So what they found that generally, suppose see all e-merchants have a calculated percentage that if they sell say 100 products in a year, so what percentage is going to come back to them? So one of the student has made a comment on audio. So if it is not clear, I request more to make a comment so that I can update. So what these companies do, they make an analysis of returns and refunds. So this company made an analysis, and what it found that generally, say the phone that was being ordered, so general return percentage is say, for example, 0.01%. But it is a live case, Kiran. It's a live case, okay? That movie has been made on this live case. So they found that in Hyderabad, this specific mobile, the return percentage was 10 times the general return. As soon as they found it, they made the analysis. So then they made the analysis. They found that this refunds have been given to this person. Then they went to the ID, and that person was very smart. There was some indication that this person was same, but otherwise he had used separate login IDs, separate login ID password, separate addresses, separate mobile numbers to do this fraud. That is how this fraud went ahead. So it's a huge thing to talk about. Okay. So to me personally, okay, let me complete the case studies, then I'll answer what Radha has said. The second case was purchase. So the second is, I don't want to discuss it in detail. You get fake products is a general phenomena. If you have not bought from proper websites, then you may get fake products. Okay. My technical team has updated that my connection is correct. Fine. Okay. Now, Radha has put whether it's a good idea or bad idea to combine papers. To me personally, it's a very good idea. Okay. Next, but it's very personal choice. Cyber security risk considerations. So that is again very important. After this, I'll allow you to discussion. So just frame questions, things that you have not got, and ask questions. Okay. So it is going to have direct and indirect both implications. Direct, you may lose money. Indirect, there could be third-party liabilities like data hacking. So I'm an online merchant. My data is hacked. Based on my hacked data, my customers lose money, so I'll have to pay them back. So that is how things are. In fact, I am not know the details right now. I don't know the correct values of things, but I know that there was some hacking done to some merchant. That merchant paid its customer. Actual payment was made to the customer just because hacking was done. There was no loss, but so that risk is there. Scan, you have put a very good question. How it is a poor policy document? Okay, let you answer. See, Muskan has put a question in the first, that fraud mobile replacement. How poor policy documentation could be a reason. So I request all of you to try to say why poor policy documentation was one of the reasons that fraud went for 1 year. I've given you a hint in my sentence. Then I'll answer your question. It's a good question. The direct, indirect impact, then direct impact could be on retailers. Indirect sensitive data may be lost that I have example given to you. This is important. SA 315 considerations. Reasonably detailed, but please take my word. This is very, very important. Each line in this standard can be 8-hour discussion with live cases. So I'm bringing this for this specific purpose. Okay. So Radha has made her point again. I'll come back to that at the end of the session today. What are the considerations? Reliance on system or programs that process data inaccurately or inaccurate data. See the risk. Unauthorized access to data may result in destruction or improper changes to data. Unauthorized transaction, non-authorized transaction, non-existent transaction. Possibility of person gaining privileged accesses. See, we have all taken this through live examples. Product catalog, price catalog, salary change I shared day before yesterday. So all things are part of this standard. We already know the live cases to all these lines. Unauthorized changes to master file data, unauthorized changes to system, programs. Yes, thank you, Vijay Shankar. Failure to make necessary changes to system or programs. Inappropriate manual intervention, potential loss of data or inability to access data. So these are all risks defined in standard on identifying, assessing risk of material misstatement due to system not working properly. What controls need to be put in place? So you have network diagram detailing server, database, hub routers. Everything has to be defined. The digital assets need to be defined. Responsibility needs to be fixed. Policy procedure documents of criticality of digital assets need to be defined. Incidents need to be documented, action taken, policy updates based on incidents to be there, annual reviews to be done by Chief Information Officer, upgrading skills, IT security policy. Muskan's point has come. Periodical review of access rights. That is a hint to the possible answer. Adequate approvals. Timely employee awareness. Very, very important. Please don't share password. Return do's and don'ts. Don't share passwords. Still, employees share password in a hall sit. 100 employees sitting. A employees ask the employee Z, what is the password? Z says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So A also knows, Z also knows, and 100 employee also know the password. Don't do it. Never do it. Never share passwords. Firewalls prevent from viruses, external attacks. Have firewalls. Baseline security, minimum security. This much has to be there. Mandate, not less than this. Remote login, access login need 2-factor, the OTPs, 2 factors. Vulnerability and penetration testing scan, where what are the lacunas? So vulnerability testing can be done through penetration testing. Schedule backups. And last I have given in bold. SA402. Client using service organization. And there is another standard, I think 3402. This is the call it as come on, assurance engagement or like that. Just 3402. Please get into that. Those are real important standards for all this what we are reading. Guidelines. Now there is a lot of upgrades to this, but let us first see the questions and answer I had to. So I had asked you why it is poor policy. Internal control convey. So he is correct. Okay, see, Muskan, why it was a poor policy document. The data trend analysis that was done at the end of the year, it had to be done on a month-to-month basis. So what happens is, suppose that was the first instance. So now company needs to upgrade its policy of data analysis of refunds and returns. And now today it is done on a real-time basis. All refunds are analyzed real-time. So that is policy consideration. Then Dada has put a long question on multidisciplinary case studies. Yeah, so you can always, I'll personally going for multidisciplinary case studies. It increases my application side very much. So Muskan, you don't say it. It's not going to be IP address. No. Policies are broad documents. IP address is an operational guideline. What policy has to be? Policy has to be that there has to be a review, a trend analysis of refunds on a specific frequency. So that frequency in that e-merchant was say yearly done, that frequency needed upgrades, monthly or daily, like that. You don't say policy. In policy, you will not say IP address. It will be part of the operational guideline. But policy will say the frequency of refund analysis. That is policy. It's a very good point to discuss. See, on a larger scale, once you become chartered accountants, one of the things in your profile could be creating policies. That is again a very huge practice area, and it has a lot of value and money also. Policy framing. So guidelines and laws governing e-commerce. Now, this part of the module has some updates. So there are additions in this part. MCQs to, it was an intense discussion to make it easy. Then we'll go ahead. So question first, I'm allowing you to answer. 10 seconds break like that. I'll take a sip of water. You answer it. I'm refreshing the answer pack. Please ask questions. See, when you ask question, it clears doubt in our mind. The same question may be pertinent for other student, and please understand, your question helps me also. Any question you ask, and when I frame an answer, I learn a lot. Each session I take with you are all absolutely smart students. Each session I take with you adds to my learning also. So I'm greatly thankful to you for asking the questions that you do. So please never miss on that. Okay. So I think you must have given answer. Let me again refresh. Oh, good. So now it is there. So I'll not read your answers. I'll display. So C is the correct answer. Application tier. So all of you, good. Is one or two incorrect, but rest of you are correct. Thank you. Next. Again, I want you to answer. I'm allowing you 10 seconds. Yeah, Falguni, your name is visible. Okay. No need to type your name again in the answer. It's visible to me. I can always read. Many of you have given the right answer, so I have not read the name. MCQ 2. See the framing of the question. So that we thanks and great, you answered correctly. Thank you. Third, it's a very welcome break. So now you answered three. So please put three and then give your answer. So I'm refreshing the answer pack. Three. That was the reason I wanted you to put the D. So 2 is D, 3 is D. So no confusion. Okay, thank you. Guidelines for e-commerce, commercial laws, special laws. Okay, let us go ahead. So e-commerce guideline. So company needs to create billing, guarantee, warranty, shipping, delivery, return, and refund. So all these guidelines have to be there. And these are the commercial laws. So they're all relevant for all e-commerce merchants, buyers, sellers. Just an update means you for B2B now, online merchants allow you to create a separate business account so that you can directly get online GST credits. So these are the commercial laws. I am not reading them. This is important. Okay, keep your point with you. I'll come back. I'll come to you. Thank you. Just look, product ordered by A delivered to B. For example, it was a DO. A had already made the payment. DO is anyone can use it. So that is how this whole concept comes. And please understand, cases that have been brought, there will be an issue of Indian Contract Act, there will be issue of Companies Act, there will be issue of Consumer Protection Act. So all things are merged. So the event and the legal questions that may arise of the event, they may, in today's law definitions, may be covered by more than one law. There is a chance that the event may not be specifically covered by any law. Multiple laws are applicable. So that is how it is. Service ordered by A, not provided by, like you can pre-book, like for companies, big corporates, they have an understanding with the courier company. So courier company guy comes daily in the morning and the evening, deliver and collect the couriers. So suppose one day it's an important courier to be delivered to customer or the vendor of the company, and the courier person doesn't come. Who bears the loss? The deliveries are delayed. Like just an example, we have tenders and companies applying for tender, and the courier guy doesn't come. So the due date, it was a 10 crore rupee tender. Who bears the loss? So this is again legal question which arise from this e-governance concept. A website selling illegal products. So who is responsible? What is the legal liability of the seller of the product? What is the legal liability of buyer of such products? What is legal liability of the auction website? So this is again, it becomes a question to answer. This was the point that I was talking about. OECD, United Nations, WTO, all world organizations are developing upon this point, how to tax it. Just understand what the complexity of the simple transaction. These are the issues which have become very, very pertinent, very, very important. And special laws governing e-commerce, Information Technology Act, and Reserve Bank of India. So I'll just read because we'll do this one. Information Technology Act 2000. So this part of the module is some additions. A lot of things have been added here. So just telling you that what has been added. Objectives have been added. Previously it was a single para. Now see, Information Technology Act, lot of definitions and section have been added in chapter 1. Some sections and definitions have been added in chapter 4. So looking to this as a Information Technology, we find reference in other chapters also. So my point to you is that this is again a common topic in all 5 chapters. So just keep your mind on all these common topics so that you can have a better understanding of all this. Object. So I've got this objectives printed from the module. I'll just read it fast. So the objectives of ICAI are to grant legal recognition for transactions carried out by means of EDI, electronic data interchange, or e-commerce in place of paper-based. So now you're doing non-physical, non-paper-based transactions. So to create framework that they are legally recognizable, they comply with all the conditions of contracts. To give legal recognition to the next objective, to give legal recognition to digital signatures. So you need not sign physical, you can sign digital. To facilitate e-filing of documents, electronic filing of returns, to facilitate e-storage, to provide recognition to electronic fund transfer, RTGS, real-time gross settlement, NEFT, new electronic fund transfer. So all these are definitions which have come from, these technologies have come from definition in the governing statute to provide legal recognition to keep books in electronic format. So now you have e-form of books to allow amendments to other related law that includes the Indian Penal Code, the Indian Evidence Act, Bankers Books Evidence Act, RBI Act. So in Information Technology Act, there are 4 schedules. Each schedule has some additions update to these acts. These schedules have updated those acts to provide legal infrastructure to promote e-commerce and secure information sharing, to manage cyber crimes at national, international level by enforcing law and defining the penalty prosecution provisions for these cyber crimes, which are now part of the Chapter 1, Section 43, 65, 66, A, B, those sections. This Act governs all internet activities in India and is applicable to all online transactions in India and provides for penalty prosecutions for non-compliances. So that is this chapter in the moment. Sections. So there are sections which have been added. I'll just name the. So section 4 has been added. Section 4 is basically providing e-communication. The implication of e-businesses would be that email would now be valid and legal form of communication. So it provides legal recognition to legal records, section 4. Section 3 is about able to use digital signatures. Section 5 is putting those e-signatures. Section 3 is the formulation mode of creating, and section 5 is putting those digital signatures. Section 6 is e-filing, foundation of e-governance form. So all your tax returns, they get their legal status through section 6, e-filing. Then IT Act also addresses the important issue of security, which are so critical. So there is a reference to section 14. And the next act discussed is the Reserve Bank of India Act. So that is for today. Put any questions you have. I'll ask any pending question. Let you put more questions. I'll come to Adit's question. Yeah. Any question that is left out, let me know. So Sriram is also good idea with all subjects in one paper, but I'll personally prefer that paper is open book. It says to be open book exam, but that is learning. Let me refresh the chat box. So that is for today. Thank you for being here. So day after tomorrow we'll have session. So we'll be talking about this trends in e-commerce. This is an addition in the chapter. So we'll be thinking this is a good topic to discuss. So we are leaving at a fresh topic. And then day after tomorrow we'll have chapter 4 plus start of chapter 5. And then last will be on 8th of April, chapter 5. So thank you. Thanks for being here and thanks for putting all those very intelligent queries and questions. So we are closing. So I'll request the technical team and stop sharing and we are closing this session. Thank you.